Welcome back to the channel, you Kookz. We are here with one of my favorite types of rigs. This guy's sending it in a Honda Element, and he's going to show us around. His name's Charlie, and let's check it out.
Cool, so this is my 2007 Honda Element. I bought it in August of last year, right when COVID was kind of going around, and flew out to Boulder, Colorado, bought it in a weekend, and then drove it all the way back home so I could make it to work on Monday. I've been building it out kind of since then, getting ideas. I didn't start the build until like 3 weeks before I actually left, so I wasn't too planned on it, but got a bed. The bed will fold up and recline. I'll show that when I go over there. But it's all the way laid down right now. I've got a desk that I put in over here so I can make music when it's raining and stuff like that, read a book, have a nice desk to sit around at. Of course, I have my skateboards. 6 feet tall, and I can lay in here fully down. And if I want to put the whole entire bed back, I can completely fully extend. The car has more room than I even know what to do with. It's honestly really, really comfy. Being in the tent the past 2 nights has been a lot worse than being in here, but it's fun to spice things up every now and then. Underneath here is where I keep all my music equipment down here, and then closet is kind of underneath there in a bunch of tubs that I got from Target for like $5 a piece. They're really cheap and they fit perfectly between the bed, and that will sit up flush. So like before I left, I had a dream of sitting in a mountainside and just laying in my bed and looking out the back window, and I finally got to achieve that, which is really cool for me. Coming over here to the right side, it's kind of weird with these rocks. You can get through here. Suicide doors make it a little bit difficult, but I have a Yeti for a cooler. I didn't really get a fridge situation because I only have a solar panel and my Goal Zero to charge my phone, laptops, and everything. Haven't had any issues with it yet. It needs to be charged today, so we'll get some solar action in. It's all run by made by Goal Zero, and you can get these in like a I got it in a combo pack kind of. I think it was like $700 for the battery and the panel.
Power out here?
Yeah, I'm getting like 35, 40 watts on average.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's not like crazy. If I drive, I can keep this running off. I have a 12-volt charger for this too, so as I'm driving, this will always be charging. And when I'm doing that, I get about 60 amps or 60 watts. Yeti keeps all my food cold. I haven't put any ice in it, but I haven't really had any need to. Just cooking most like cans and stuff, and unperishables will keep it together. And then shotgun seat, driver's seat, where I stay the most of my time. Have all my hat collection. I wear a lot of hats. I'm always wearing a different hat every day. And then 2 cameras. I have an old camcorder that I've been putting on a cassette tape, so I've been filming stuff for that, which has been pretty cool. And I can't wait to get home and develop it and see what on the other side. I built a desk here, and for the desk purpose, I keep my solar panel underneath here. And if I want to access those, I'll just have to pull out my cooler. And then I keep my solar panel and my stovetop and all my cooking stuff back there. I've just been cooking off of the Coleman, just regular propane stove you can find for around $30. They're a dime a dozen anywhere. Between that and then I have a jet boil that I'll also use sometimes, and I can cook any sort of ramen you want in that jet boil. So for my bed, what I did is I just got a nice 0-degree thick sleeping bag, and then I put a like a cot sort of like cover on that I got off Amazon for like $10 as well. And underneath here, I did a whole bunch of like memory foam padding underneath wood panel 2x4s, and then just like tiny little things. But I built all this in about a day. Didn't take me too long. It wasn't too difficult, but kind of just wing it and then go for it. And if I ever want to just relax, I can lift this up, put that up, and then I've got a recliner. And so I can sit back and lay down, watch Netflix if I have service, and relax. And hence more of the clothes in the closet. But yeah, Cards Against Humanity, things to help time pass. The biggest things were the panel, Yeti, and solar. That probably, I think in total for all that was like $800, I think. But for the actual build, maybe $100, $200. Wood got really expensive this past year, but $200, and I've been out living out on day 30, I think, coming up. So it's been about a month in the car, and honestly.
Your best life.
Yeah, I wouldn't change any of it at all. Before I left and started doing this, I was in school for music and sound production, and so COVID stopped doing classes for that. But now here I am, I'm still doing it, and now I can spend as much time as I want working on music. And being out here, when you have just the most insane inspiration in the world, you can just come up with the most off-the-wall ideas that you never would have thought would work. But you're out here and you're just by yourself, and you know, things start to click, and you just start to experience it. I don't know. I've just learned so much more ever since I've been out here, more than I think I ever would at home, due to the distractions of the real world and going out with people and doing whatever. Here I can sit down and actually focus on what I'm really passionate about. So, yeah, I've started reading a lot more too. I've read my first book in I don't know how long. You know, it's been really good for me. I honestly can't think of anything else I would rather be doing with my life, especially being 22 years old and just now getting into something like this. I've taken it all over the country so far. I'm from Indianapolis, and I've gone all the way up to Glacier National Park, spent about a month there, and then went down to Spokane, Washington, saw Mount Rainier. I've taken this thing through just about every terrain there is. We've gone through the desert now in eastern Washington. Pretty much did some off-roading in it, which was a little sketchy, and then went all the way over to the ocean, went straight down the coast, and then camped right on the beach for a whole night. I took this thing from Indianapolis, Indiana to the farthest point of the United States as possible and camped it right there on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. It's the best car I've ever owned, and every day that I drive it, I love it more and more and more. It's the quirkiest thing that you would ever see, but it's a Honda, so it runs great and it will keep running great. I haven't had any issues, hardly any issues, minor ones, but they're fine now. It's all-wheel drive. I won't get stuck. I came down something that most cars couldn't do, and this car survived. Favorite part of life on the road, going to bed every night and hearing all the things around me, or if I'm really like in a great spot, I sleep with my head facing that way, and I can look up through the back sunroof and I can see the stars while I'm sleeping, while still being in my car.
And then you also got the tent set up.
Yeah, I do have a tent set up over there for days when I want to camp outside of the element. Yesterday was the first time I actually camped outside of the tent in the tent the whole entire time I've been on the road. But yeah, I can kind of do both things. I can go, if I want to sleep in a tent, I can go sleep in my tent, get out of the car for a little bit. It gets kind of stuffy, especially when you get the sun baking on you. I don't have any Reflectix or anything like that, so it gets pretty warm in there if I'm not out in the morning. Reflectix will probably be something in the future that I end up getting. But right now we're still just big fish dome. Everyone can see it in the middle of the night, but it's whatever. It was when we got to Mount Rainier and we weren't realizing that we were going into Rainier National Park. I'm on a convoy with 3 other cars. They're not here with me right now, but they'll eventually make it with me. But we've all been traveling around and we started just climbing elevation. When we got to the very top, we just saw snow drifts that were like 25 feet tall, and I had never in my life seen snow that big. And got into the park, and then we just see this giant mountain just poking out, and we found a place to camp on an airfield that night where we could sleep underneath Mount Rainier on an old abandoned airfield. And we probably spent 2 days there, and I think those are probably the best 2 days that I've had on the trip so far. Every single day has been great, but those 2 days, the weather was perfect. It was nice and cool, and yeah, it was kind of like going back in time a little bit.
All right, thank you, Kookz, so much for watching. We hope you learned something in this video that you can send it in whatever you're driving right now. If you can fold down the seats, you can get out there and live your best life, like Charlie.
Like me.
And where can we find you, Charlie?
You can find me on Instagram at explorers.archives, or on SoundCloud, Highly Explosive Sounds.
Highly explosive sounds.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for showing us
You're
your
welcome.
crib.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was so awesome. I was so stoked when I saw that you opened it up and it was all built out.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't not say hello and come over and check it out.
Absolutely, I'm glad you did.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching, Kookz. See you next time.
That keeps things moving. That's the nature of life.